Hey everybody, it's Monster Art School. I hope. Yeah, hey, we're on. Okay, good. So it's Monster Art School, and I'm Steve, and today we're going to draw a bugbear from D&D fame. So I'm grabbing out my trusty Bristol paper and some pencils and an eraser, and we're going to get drawn, okay? And today I'm using, I'm going to try and use this is my Blackwing. I really like this pencil, so I'm going to try and use it again, but I have to sharpen it. So just bear with me one moment. And there's the sound of my trusty sharpener. And here we go. Ah, that hurts. So the bugbear is kind of like a goblin, but like a hairy, or not a goblin, like an orc, but hairy and kind of uglier and wider and more fun to draw, I think. So I'm going to draw a big, kind of scary bugbear. So what I want to do is I want to think about, like, whenever I come to a problem of drawing a creature in space, what I want to do is I want to think about where the creature is. So, and what kind of a shape I want the illustration to have. So I'm gonna draw an angle line there just to give me a sense of kind of the ground line, and I'm gonna draw up, and I think I want him kind of running toward us. So basically, I'm gonna just kind of scumble in some thoughts and ideas about how I want it to work, and I'm gonna put his head there. Now, I'm thinking shape right now. I'm not really thinking anatomy yet. So at the moment, what I'm just doing is just kind of getting in a basic shape of how I want this character to feel, and what I want him to be doing. So I think I kind of have this idea. It's starting to kind of coalesce into him running toward us. So I'm going to kind of draw his face in here, starting with that cross in the middle of the head like I always do. And I'll put the eye sockets in for a skeleton. For a skull. And then draw cheekbones and then the lower jaw down here. And I think I want the lower jaw to be really wide. So I'm just going to kind of draw it wide out here. We'll come in here and we'll get his head, the top of his head. Now, bugbears have really big ears, so I'm going to give him really enormous ears. Now, I don't know where bugbears come from. I don't know if they're a mythological creature, if they're something that, like, Gary Gygax and his friends made up when they first created D&D. I have no idea. But I always used to get them mixed up with owl bears, which I know is something that they created for D&D. And then when I drew some bugbears for Dungeons and Dragons, I was like, what am I drawing here? I didn't know what I was working on. So until I did the research and found out what it was, and found out that they're actually big, muscular, humanoid creatures. So I'm getting in the sphere for the chest. And I always kind of outline this out. And I'm going to do the same for the shoulders, get those kind of rounded in out here. And he's going to have really wide shoulders, so I'm going to make him really bulky. So in order to do that, I want to think about, like, how many heads wide is this guy? Maybe I'll put it out to here. So he'll be pretty wide. It's going to be like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure kind of anatomy. Although he's thicker in the middle. So I'm going to keep doing overlaps. So what I do is I overlap, or I draw this object, and then I'll put another object behind it like that. And that's his midsection. And I'll draw a third object behind that, and that's his pelvis area. And I'm making them each one behind the other, kind of creating an overlap. So these, where the shoulders are, they're going to overlap over the chest. And then I always like to find the clavicle, which gives me the direction of the chest. So clavicle is this bone that goes across here. So I'm going to draw that. Goes up from the center of the chest out to the shoulder out here. And I'm going to draw the sternum here and the ribs down here. And then we'll get the lats out here. So it's going to be pretty big and bulky and muscular. And now I'm going to draw, we'll get this deltoid muscle in here, and then we'll continue the center. Now, a lot of these lines that I do, I go from a curved line to a straight line, or from a straight line to a curved line. So curved line, straight line, curved line. And that kind of gives you the sense of this movement around the object, around the form. And then again, I'm going to go straight to curve, and then curve to straight. And there we get our elbow. Let me come around there. And so from the elbow, this is the forearm here. So I want to bring right off the forearm, I'm going to put the back of the hand and then the knuckles here. And I'm drawing boxes for the knuckles. And I'll draw a box for the hand. That way I can kind of leave that for later, but I know approximately where it is. Now, I'm going to continue the center of the chest here. Now, under the chest is the diaphragm. And then we have the stomach muscles, the abdominals. We have the obliques out here. And I'm just going to kind of hint those in a little at that angle because we're looking down at it. Now I'm going to lower this down, and the pelvis is down here. So I'm going to draw around, give him a nice belt, and draw around there. And at this point, the pelvis comes like this, right? Kind of like underwear, right? But then we have to have this leg is kind of up in here. The bone comes down like this to the knee. So what we're doing is basically it's changing direction dramatically. So there's going to be a squash here in the inside of the leg, and then we have the thigh muscles here with the knee, and then the extended thigh muscles on this side going up into the gluteus muscles back there. And the knees here will go back. So we'll make this tilt away from us. So I think about a tube that's turning away. So I draw it like so. And then I'm going to go back like this so we can show the foot out here. We'll block that knee off as a square. And we'll have the foot kind of come like this. And here on the front here, we're going to draw a triangle kind of for the kneecap. And since we're drawing it going back, I want to draw the top. This is essentially the top of the kneecap like that. So I'm going to draw back into the ankle, which will be somewhere back here. Now, I may have to extend this line down a little bit, but I don't care because it's really not that big a deal. And I'll get the foot here now. This is where it gets a little tricky. The foot, at this point, we're going to have the top of the foot here, and then the ball of the foot there, and then we're going to see the toes come toward us. So we're going to end up with this kind of a situation like this. And the toes all point in different directions. So this one will point this way, this way, this way, this way, and that way. So they all eventually would go in different directions. So that way they can all be, they kind of squish on this side. And you want to get the knuckles in there so you can see where they attach. Okay. And then get the big toenails on top of there. This is kind of like drawing the Incredible Hulk. Now, get the toenails there, the knuckles. I haven't really drawn many feet lately in Monster Art School, so there you go. Now, let's get that back arm in, and I think that back arm, if I had more space over here, I'd have that back arm holding a weapon. Right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that because I didn't really plan myself out with some space. So let's make sure he has a weapon on his back. So we'll have a handle for some sort of a giant swordy thing here. And maybe his back arm, going to make those deltoids work back into a, let's see, we'll have it come like this. And so we'll go curved, flat, and then we have the forearm here. And I think I'm going to have this fist curved in like so. So we want to continue the line from the elbow down and in to the knuckles like this. So the knuckles will be bent in and down. And we'll end up with this kind of situation there. And I always base these arms and stuff on a little bit of a box. So I always try to make sure it feels like a box in there. So you can see like this is the plane of the side of the hand, and this is the plane of the back of the hand there. And that's how I kind of think about it. Same with this. So now let's individualize these fingers. The first one, second one should come down a little bit more. The third finger goes in, and then the pinky finger turns towards that third finger. So you get this kind of a look. And then we'll draw in the knuckles like so. And we'll get a thumb in here. Put some claw on that thumb. Put a claw on that thumb too. Now, bugbear anatomy. Let's see. So we've got essentially a big body here. Let's put some definition to the pecs in here. And we'll get a little bit more of a sense of that as a definition there. And we'll go throw some neck muscles in. And then we have the face. Now my pencil's getting a little dull, so I'm going to go back to a nicer sharpener. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to treat this like I'm drawing a comic book character. At this point, I'm going to go in. I'm going to start to define details. So we're going to get some nice eyebrows there. And we'll draw some little eyes in here. And I always make sure that the eyes, the lower lid is under the upper lid. Some wrinkles. And then I think these guys have these little noses, little pug noses. So I'm going to give him a nose right up near his eyes here. Since he's angry, I'll have some extra folds up here for anger. And then we'll show the cheekbones here. Out like that. And then we'll draw the mouth. Let's see, it'll come out like this. To the top of the mouth there. And maybe I can do the lower. The mouth looks a little awkward, so I may have to fix that. Let's see here. So I'll bring this over like so. And we'll get the mouth there. And I'll do a nice big ugly lip. Hangs out. Chin. And then his jaw, have his jaw come around like so. And I think part of this is going to be just kind of giving this guy some cool ridges on his cheeks there, and then bringing his lip in. We'll darken the area inside that eye socket there, right in the middle here. This area right here is very dark because there's very little light can get in there. Draw shadow under the nose, and then we'll start bringing wrinkles up here. And let's see, I'll throw some hair out like this and kind of base it on like fiery shapes. So I kind of curve triangles in different directions and I go up like this. And then let's see, I'll give him hair coming down like this. And little eyes. So he looks like he's staring right at us. He looks mean, man. He's one mean. He's like, Shaft, shut your mouth. He's one mean mother, shut your mouth. That's right, Shaft. Just talking about Bugbear. So I don't know why these guys are called bugbears. They are. I'm going to give them a nose ring because, yeah, nose rings. Looks more feral that way. And I'll give them some hair coming, like sideburny kind of hair there. Let's get these ears in. Just try to mimic a little bit of what humans have in their ears. But then I think they should be furry on top. So I'll use some rougher lines on top, and then they'll have the pink underside here that looks kind of like more like our ear. So up here it'll be nice and furry. And we'll have the more, anatomical area of the ear in here. Okay, so now we've got ears, we've got hair. Let's give this hair a little bit more definition. And then we'll draw some muscles up here. So we have to recognize that the spine is here, so there'll be a ridge there, and then we'll have a muscle on either side that's part of the trapezius. And then this is kind of a squish from, make that a little smaller, from where the the deltoid is pushing back into the trapezius and making it squish up. That's there too. And then we have the deltoids. Now, I'm imagining the light's coming from above, so his under part of his eyes, the eye socket should be shadowed. So then also underneath his lip should be shadowed, and under his cheekbones should be shadowed, and I'll continue that down. So under his chin, his head should create a shadow here. And we'll go around like this and finish out this shadow. And I'll bring it over here too. So now we got to think about armor for this guy. And you want the armor to follow the flow of the body. So if his arms are tubed like this toward us, then we want the armor to do the same. So I'll give him some sort of thin plates of armor that are tied together, maybe kind of like samurai armor a little bit. I don't know why. Wait, I want these to go the other way. I don't know what I'm thinking there. They should go the other direction. So it's going to come like this. And like this. And like this. I'm going to have it kind of tie in over here. And we'll draw kind of pieces like that. And that'll be tied into this strap that's going to come under. here and connect to what I'm assuming would be a chest plate along like that. And we got to give it a little bit of space between him and the chest plate there. And then the chest plate will have come around like so. Okay, and now let's see. I think his arms are going to be furry out to here. Because he's a bug bear, not a what do you call it? Not a goblin. And now these plates will go away from us. So like that. Make sure that they turn away, and we'll do again the ties here, and we'll hook it into this strap. It's coming over his shoulder, and then we'll see part of the deltoids there, and then the lats under here, and the armor is going to come around, and we can even show like side of the straps that go around the side of him here and here. Now up here we want to get in the brachialis muscle, which comes around, kind of crosses over here. I'm kind of exaggerating it a little bit there, and we'll have it over here too. And I'll make it have some fur on it. And I'll put some shadow underneath here. Okay. And I'll drop a shadow where the two meet. Okay, and there's that. Now we want the armor to cast a shadow so we know it's three-dimensional. And then his chest plate looks kind of bland. Well, now it just looks as chest. So let's throw something on there. Let's get rid of the stomach muscles and all that, because we know it's there. And we'll just kind of maybe we'll throw some studs on the plates up here. I know, they probably don't make studded plate, but why not? I don't know. Let's just say they did. These guys make studded plate. I know they're studded leather. This could be studded leather, I guess. It could be tied together like this. It's plates of leather or pieces of leather. So okay. And then I think if he's going to have his sword back there, we need to have a strap holding that sword on. Let me get my eraser out here. So I want to have a strap that comes around him like this and goes back, down and under. Kind of meets up with his belt. We'll put a belt buckle here to hold his pants up. But also, he's got to have a belt buckle so he can have his pouches, because what good D&D monster or a character doesn't have copious amounts of bags and pouches that attach to their belt? So we'll put a pouch here. Essentially, it's a box with a flap. We'll throw another one here. And let's see, we'll throw some holes there. And then maybe over here we'll throw a skull, because every good monster needs to have a skull on his belt, right? So there's a human skull hanging off his belt over here. Maybe some hair sticking off of it, so it's not like fully skullified yet. Gross. Okay. Let's get that belt down. And they'll say there's another strap that comes up here just because, straps, belts, all the fun stuff. And we'll throw a plate right in the front here to protect his pelvis area. And maybe another one attached to that, similarly to how the ones up above are attached. So I try to keep at least somewhat consistent between the armor from one part of the body to the next. So that it looks like, well, okay, this guy actually went somewhere and got armor together. So we'll say this is the same kind of thing. Though I don't think he's going to, well, maybe, yeah, why not? Let's put some studs on there. 3, 4 studs. 1, 3, 4. They're for show, right? They're happy studs. Like Bob Ross would say, oh, he's got his happy little studs. Let's see, he's got to have a piece here where his, I don't even know what these are for, but there's something. I have them on my bags. They're supposed to protect the strap, I guess. I don't know. But he's going to have one just because. And I'll put some shadow on that and some texture just to make it feel like it's something other than the metal. And then we have to draw the metal shadows in here. So I think I'm going to switch out my pencil to this one because that pencil's starting to die. And rather than getting up, I think I'm just going to... So we've got his armor. He's probably going to have a buckler up here that protects the top and the backs of his hand. Something like this, probably. And it'll be strapped on underneath, like so. And over here, I'll have the same. So yeah, it's starting to look like something. We'll get the thumb shadowed there. We'll get these under parts of his fist shadowed, so we don't need to worry about that. Just make sure the edge feels like the fingers kind of there. And then let's see, we'll go in, draw straps, and we'll get this up like that. And that should give us a nice repeat shape from the other side. Now, this leg, I think this leg should just go all the way into shadow, or at least mostly. So I'm going to put that under a little bit of shadow. I'm going to draw it flowing down, and we'll throw a little shadow on the top of the foot here so that we get the impression that this whole foot area is kind of underneath. And then this here, we got to draw the shading under there, and then let's get that there. And then for the upper leg here, we want to throw in thigh muscles. And we'll go around like this. There we go. And we'll get these in. There we go. Bring these down. Okay, now let's get this shadow on this part of the leg here because it's moving away from us. And then we'll darken this and bring this down into shadow. And I think in between those toes, I don't know why he's barefoot. He just is, because he's a bugbear. And then let's get his sword in there. I think it's just going to have a very simple, if I had time to reference it, I would. But it's going to have a simple pommel and hilt. And we'll say it's strapped with leather. And we can let this go to shadow here and shadow back there, because we don't need to see all that. And we'll get some of this texture in up here. Let's make this feel like metal. And there you go. Okay, I'm going to check the time, but I think I'm pretty good on time. I might be wrong, but that knee is a little bit off, and I think I'll have to fix that. That's always a tough one to do, and I think I might just bring this foot down a little bit lower. But so let me just check the timing. Oh, my friend Zach Taft is calling me. He's calling me in the middle of class, so I'm going to have to tell him. Let me call you back, dude. All right. So we have 10 more minutes, and I'll call Zach back. So anyway, here's my... So let's say I don't like that foot anymore. So I think what we're going to do is let's get the ground in, and then we'll adjust the foot to fit the ground, because this leg, not digging it. Well, part of it is that can't possibly be in front of that leg, because this leg is coming forward, and that's like off the front. So I got to make these things meet each other somehow in the middle. So, because that just won't work. So now we have his pelvis here. That leg goes back. This leg comes forward. Goes down. That foot's too close to us. Here we go. So let's see here. Yeah, I think putting that armor on too early on the crotch area really threw it off for me. So maybe instead of armor, he'll have like a loincloth. Loincloths, they're fun. It also makes it easier to see the parts you're trying to draw over. So for now, I'll just do that. I can always go back and fix that later. Get this here. Let's get some... Now, I want to get this bone of the calf in there correctly. Let's get the ankle in. Draw it like that for now. And then we'll come around, and then I can put the ground like this. So he's really coming at us here. We'll put like a stone, maybe some grass. Do some more over here. Keep that kind of sketchy for now. And then I'm going to bring this down and get the ankle in here. And then we're going to draw the top of the foot, side of the foot, the inset of the foot, and then we'll have the toe. The toe's like this. I think we're going to say, oh, he's wearing something on his legs. And then that's about it. So what I like about this is trying to kind of keep the sense of a shape design going on. Trying to continue like this triangle shape throughout the piece. Mimic the outer triangle with inner triangles as well. Without, overdoing it, but keeping it in mind as you go. And yeah, so there we go. All right. Not everything's perfect, but if I was to keep going on this, I'd have a finished piece. And maybe in a couple of hours more, I could have a really good finished piece. But at least this is the beginning of a finish. All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to Monster Art School. I hope you had a good time. I hope you drew along with me. If you are going to draw along with me, please share your drawings. I'd love to see them. And follow me on YouTube at Steve Ellis Artist, or on, Live. And the more people I get up there to do YouTube Live, the more possible it is to make a channel on there that will reach a wider audience. And so I've been doing these ever since we started doing the quarantine. And part of this is doing them for people who are stuck at home. So if you know people that are stuck at home and want to do something like draw or hang out or whatever, just let them know. I'm doing a kids one at 2 p.m. and I do the adult one at 3 p.m. So thank you very much for for coming on and for listening and hanging out. And I hope you had a good time drawing. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, and I'm doing these Monday through Friday.